Hey guys, Desolator Magic here. Hopefully you're having a great Wednesday, my dudes. Oh wait, did I just call it Wednesday? I meant to call it T-6 Oko Band Days. Tune in Monday to see them fail to completely fix Standard. Although I will say this ahead of time, very daring statement here. If they made the insane decision to not ban Oko and instead banned like the Wolf that eats food and becomes indestructible, Hydroid Crisis, and a couple other cards, I think that would actually do it. That would almost be more good for the format because there's a lot of overpowered cards and Oko is the tip of the iceberg. But anyway, this video is about Arena. They made another state of the game for November 2019 for Arena, and this is typically written by people who actually work directly on the game. That was at least my impression. The author is just marked as archive. And every time I see that, I feel like there might actually be somebody who works there where they just go by one name, like Cher or like Bono or whatever, or Prince, and their name is just Archive. And they also work security. And they know mixed martial arts. And apparently this archive person really listens to the community because this is almost always good news. Now, I haven't read this yet. So, they do say performance check-in, first and foremost. Gameplay hitches, FPS drops, unresponsiveness, all this crap. My God, you can't even click a damn button in the game. And remember, I'm running an overclocked i9 and a 1080 Ti. Oh, on one of the fastest SSDs ever made. So they did say last time that they're working on it, but they had to work on something else first. So right around this time, they should be making it a high priority. And in fact, they do say performance remains our highest priority right now. With the November game update, we expect most players to see improvements, particularly during matches. Yeah, that is when we saw FPS drops. The work is ongoing, and we will continue doing these check-ins for as long as necessary to keep players informed of our current progress. Let me translate that. We're going to keep working on this forever because the Unity engine is really bad at card games. It doesn't like to draw that many objects on screen at once, especially when they're layered on top of each other. Add in the flying unicorns flying across the screen, farting rainbows and glitter that they demanded that they put in the game, and it's a little much, a little hard to render. So as they put it, they've begun rerunning the code that runs their asset system, which is 3D objects, textures, sound files, that kind of stuff. That's assets. With the first batch of changes coming with, they say this update. This is the first we've heard about an update. They haven't mentioned an update, and I just opened it today and there wasn't one. So I don't know when this update is or why they're referring to it like we know what that is, but I guess there's one coming, I guess. I'm sure they'll mention it later. So we primarily focused on reducing the frequency and severity of times the game would appear to stutter or hang during matches. Oh, yes, please. I have misclicked and like missed buttons and stuff because the button isn't responding for 1/8 of a second, which is way too long for me. You guys know how quick I play. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my X-Mage footage, but I can get it like a 15-turn game against the AI done in 2 minutes. So anyway, they say, though you may also experience better performance when you're viewing a lot of cards. I assume by better they mean worse? What an odd way to phrase that. I guess he meant additionally to the gameplay, you might also see less stuttering when a lot of cards are on screen, like in the search and when you're drawing the deck box list, which probably not. They'd have to delete the animations to make that work. Anyway, memory allocation and management in progress. The memory leaks, where the longer you run the game, the more RAM it takes, because it doesn't free up objects ever. He says, we've made some improvements to how we handle asset cleanup, which should lead to less memory usage during longer gameplay sessions. I have 32 gigs, so I didn't notice. We believe this may also reduce spikes in memory allocation and CPU utilization, particularly during matches. If they fixed that, it has nothing to do with memory leaks. So I assume he means that they also fixed that. I mean, that's literally the opposite. It's loading the data in the first place that spikes it. I mean, the engine's garbage collector uses the CPU, but maybe they spread it out, whatever. A note on game crashes. I haven't had the game crash in a long ass time. From what we can tell, most of the recent game crash reports we've received are correlated to the issues we've outlined above. Oh, yeah, if you literally run out of memory, it'll probably freeze up and crash. As we improve our memory usage, CPU utilization, and overall game optimization, you should buy a better computer. Oh, wait, he didn't say that. I said that. These types of crashes should decrease in frequency as well. Bro, you can get like 8 gigs of DDR4 for like $32. Like, we're talking 3 gigahertz CL15 shit. So on to social features 1.0, the friends list. Now that significant that's what I get for trying to read fast. Significant progress is being made with gameplay performance. We felt more comfortable introducing new features, namely the highly anticipated friends list functionality. We're labeling this as social features 1.0 because it's only the first feature in the social suite we have planned for MTG Arena. Oh God, what else could they possibly add? They did say multiplayer. They said that is absolutely coming to the game. They have confirmed that. But in-game chat, I'll be banned within a day. Okay, I have a zero tolerance policy for people running dickish bullshit and slow playing. I'm not gonna last long if they add chat. If they take longer than 3 seconds to target a spell, they're gonna hear about their mother and how fat she is. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyway, they say for now, we'll continue working on the functionality of that friends list. And with this game update, you'll be able to add other players to your friends list. I think you can already do that. As well as remove and or block them if necessary. Oh, please do. Through your friends list, you'll be able to see whether your friends are online and challenge them to direct challenge matches through the friends list interface. Cool. Yeah, that's basically basic functionality. Now on our to-do list is the ability, or next on our to-do list is the ability to directly message your friends in the client, as well as the ability to share decks when playing direct challenge matches. Yeah, both of those would be really cool because you have to do it rather difficultly off platform right now. So MTG Arena Beyond Standard, this is where they lost me because I don't care. Recently, there's been a lot of discussion about what MTG Arena is ultimately meant to be as a game. To both help current conversations and lend context to the path ahead, we want to talk about our goals for MTG Arena and what this means for players as we begin to look beyond Standard. See, here's the problem. Nobody had a problem, I'd say a great level of disinterest, but nobody truly had a problem with keeping your old cards and running a new format called Historic. Until two things. One, Pioneer, and two, they started adding bullshit that was never in the game in the first place. Older cards. Oh, and 2B, making you burn 2 wild cards to get 1 card, but they got rid of that. I think having a start point of whatever it is, M13, M14, Theros, I don't remember, whatever the hell it is for Pioneer, and then having a start point of, I actually don't remember what Historic is. I think Kaladesh. Those are really close to each other, and Pioneer and Historic are literally the exact same thing, except they're going to confuse it even further by adding even older cards to Historic as just random one-off cards. That is stupid, confusing, and 5 years from now it's going to be even more confusing. I think they should dump Historic immediately, but hey, you just lost, 1,000 cards in the rotation, which is like a realistic number in some cases. People can't handle that, and they are correct in assuming that. And then, in my case at least, every single deck I have ever built in Arena since the beta was immediately invalid and unplayable. On top of that, I lost probably realistically 500 usable redeemed cards. And the next day, I immediately started with nothing, which is why they gave everybody like 10 decks that you could play with, just saying. Because if you log in and you start at 0 and you're like, oh, I have to build a deck or 2 or 3 or 4 and it might suck and I'm low on wild cards, and if I burn all my wild cards on a deck that sucks, then I'm screwed, then I gotta spend more money, I'm just gonna go play a different game. And they want to avoid that. So in the meantime, you could go to free play, you could play one of their provided decks, or you could play, in free play, Historic. That's why they did it. Unfortunately, then there's a collision with Modern sucks and everybody hates it, it's stale as hell and it's too expensive, let's make Pioneer, which is why they made that. So 2 completely different reasons, and now you've got 2 virtually identical formats. Slightly bigger than Standard, and even slightly bigger than Standard, it's weird. Oh, and don't forget slightly different ban lists. That'll be fun to think about and manage. So this is very bad that they're rolling out Historic. Like, I was kind of behind it, but not interested in actually playing it myself. And then, wow, they really screwed it up by releasing Pioneer, and that's a shame. So they broke this down to MTG Arena is intended to be 1, a gateway to Magic, 2, delving into Magic's history, 3, a curated experience, and 4, a digital frontier. So a gateway to Magic, yes. Most people coming into the game, and I mean most by an enormous margin, are entering it by playing Arena. A lot of the Arena people are old Magic players that played Paper or MTGO, and they came back because they heard there's this new fancy thing. But some are coming over from Hearthstone, and some people are just like, oh, this is a free game and I'm going to try it. I like card games and strategy. I've played Pokemon a couple years ago, whatever. And they're brand new to the game and the tutorial is just absolutely wonderful. So yes, Gateway to Magic, very important. I could see why they listed it as number 1. Delving into Magic's history, no, it literally does the exact opposite. It is standard oriented. It does not go into Magic's history, and dead ass nothing from the lore or storyline are in the game. No cutscenes, no character bios, I think once they played a trailer. So they could not be more wrong about stating that they're delving into Magic's history. It's astonishing that they just said that. It not only doesn't do that, but it does the opposite. That's amazing. Anyway, a curated experience. MTG Arena should provide easy onboarding, great matchmaking, and varied experiences each day, week, and set. I wanted to read that because, yes, they do that. Because curated can mean anything. They just mean it doesn't want to feel repetitive, boring, stupid, poorly set up, whatever. They want enough to do and happy people. It's like, if you want to go on an African safari, you don't just, grab a big gun and a pepper spray and go walking in the woods. Like it's a curated experience. They put cages on the cars and make sure they have enough gas. And they drive through very specific areas like that. That's what he means by curated. If you thought that they meant they're going to appropriately ban cards when they become problematic in a timely fashion, no, they did not mean that when they said curated. Sorry. And then fourth, the digital frontier. That's just some marketing fluff bullshit. What did they even say about this? MTG Arena is a new way to experience with Magic and expand its possibilities, especially in the digital space. Blah, blah, blah. It's more money. Who cares? Oh, paper is old. Digital is new. Animations flashing on the screen are the future. I mean, I've never completely disagreed with that. MTGO is a boring pile of shit that looks like it was made in the 90s, even though it wasn't, strangely enough. I mean, it was close, if I recall, but yeah, still. This is marketing fluff crap. So an actual enjoyable experience and a gateway to new players. I agree with those two. Focus on those guys. And then they put in a bunch of blah, blah, blah. We want it to be a great place to learn Magic, friends, jump into a wide variety, do stuff, have fun, play standard, whatever. Who cares? Stop saying filler crap. I want to go make some hot chocolate. So then they go on to event curation specifically, which we all know the events at Arena are like probably more fun, more interesting, and more crazy, and more varied and more often than anything that your local gaming store holds. Just saying. So at a high level, all this means is that MTG Arena will feel more like your local gaming store. Wow, I did not read that sentence before saying that. No, it'll feel better than your local gaming store because they don't run crazy shit like Momir's Madness. Because they can't. You can't do that. It has to be digital. Anyway, running a variety of organized events throughout the week. Yeah, no, my store doesn't really do that. I think they do Commander on one day. I don't know. They had a modern day too, actually. Okay, whatever. MTG Arena is a lifestyle game, not just... God, I feel cringy just reading that. Not just sometimes, or a sometimes activity for most of our players. They want to take over your whole life, guys. It's the new Facebook. You have to live on Arena. That's why they made the Battle Pass initially such a shit show. You had to play every day or else. Oh, you're sick today? Too bad. You're traveling? F*** you. This is a lifestyle, damn it. This is what your life's about now. I think I was in my first year of college, not even the second year, where we learned don't get too caught up in your software and think that everybody's going to use it 24/7 just because you put a lot of time into it. Just because you work 40 plus hours a week working on a game doesn't mean that everybody else plays it for 8 hours a day and it's their entire life, okay? I play other games. Anyway, blah, 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 great new experiences every time you play. Otherwise, it would become stale. Yeah, especially with the state of standard. We also completely understand the desire for more on-demand play so that you can play formats other than what's currently being offered. I don't know, I think it's pretty appropriate. I mean, they've already hit stuff that I'm not interested in doing, but I'm still interested in playing, so... Whatever, that's why we are also continuing to expand direct challenge options and add additional social features. That's right, so you can play with friends instead of playing against assholes with tier 1 decks. The matchmaking system is clearly rigged as hell, in my opinion and in my experiences. And the ranking system is a joke. So, yeah, getting people away from that is a good idea because not everybody's into that. Then they move on to something called remastered sets. So they say later next year, so 2020, we plan to begin adding remastered versions of older sets to Magic the Gathering Arena. That is amazing because they actually said word for word that they are not doing that and are never going to implement that. So that's a 180. Like they said, we have absolutely zero intention of adding older sets to Arena. It will never happen. That is not what the product is about. They said something almost verbatim like that. So that's unbelievable. I have a feeling that they're just going to try to hit Pioneer. They're going to go back until Pioneer is on Arena, which they also said, by the way, they're not doing. I mean, if the two did hit parity and synced up, that would be a lot simpler to understand. I wouldn't mind that, but boy, is that a lot of sets to add. And that's a lot of wild cards, just saying. They're saying they're releasing remastered sets, while I'm interested in opening boosters from the sets that I can actually play with all the cards from, not a set that I need 3 rares from and that's it. So yeah, there's some issues with this. However, they do immediately say that in conjunction with normal Wizards of the Coast R&D, which that'll be fun to work with those idiots. We will be looking at multiple sets and condensing them into a single larger set that only includes the most relevant cards. Okay, there we go. Should have read ahead. And adding that to the game. So it'll be like a I hate to say legacy, but they've used all the good words. A historic booster, like Historic 1 or whatever. And I think they actually did something just like this with like the Masters sets or Mastery or whatever the hell they called them on MTGO to get like the super old stuff. It was like a hybrid booster of a set that didn't really exist, but they just chose a bunch and threw them in. See, that I would buy and open. You know what they should do? Just sell them for like 2,000 coins and then just put a wild card in every single pack. Rare or mythic. And I feel like it would probably have to cost 3,000 coins at that point, but like something like that. Or give people like a 50-50 shot of having a rare wild card, a mythic wild card in every single booster. Or just do whatever the hell you want, make it 500 coins. Either way, this is the most interesting revelation so far in this article. Definitely. So this will allow us to focus on what made the sets fun and exciting for players while delivering on the content much more quickly. Yeah, that means you can't draft like Theros or whatever they add, so that's an issue. But if you don't want most of the commons and uncommons, you know somebody's going to say, well, I want to build this deck that I built a long time ago, and you just added that set to the game, but now I can't do it because you left out this one card, which, yeah, it's in the common slot, but I need it. There's no way that they're going to avoid that. No way. Unless they just make the boosters and then give people access to all the cards they didn't put in the boosters, which I heavily suspect they're going to do. Just watch. I bet you they'll do that. They'll just give you automatic access to every single common and uncommon that they didn't put in the boosters so that you can build whatever you want, and then you'll just have to get the rest of them from the booster. That's the ideal way to do it, in my opinion, and I really think they will do that. So they say this is a long-term commitment, so they're very set on this, that will eventually lead to additional format support beyond Standard and Historic. Pioneer is one of the formats that we're working towards. Oh, wow, I could have sworn said we are not adding Pioneer to Arena. Somebody said that. I don't know. But it'll be a longer journey before we could talk specifics. Yeah, can you imagine the amount of animations and like card mechanics they have to program? As we head towards that goal, we'll be focused on delivering the best play experiences that these iconic card sets can offer. So for Historic, we want to leverage MTG Arena's digital strengths to create a format that can adapt more quickly to what's going on in-game. Historic is our first take on this. No, you just want people to be less butthurt over losing their cards every rotation. Whatever they say beyond that is a lie, by the way. So it's aimed at our more experienced players, and we want to seriously explore the idea of a living format that changes as it's played. So what, you're going to ban a bunch of stuff? I can't imagine what they mean by that. This truly begins with the November game update. When is it? They keep referencing it. When is it? When they'll be adding 20 new cards to MTG Arena for Historic play. Oh, that's what they were referring to. They keep adding cards that they handpick that are older than the cutoff for Historic. Oh, that'll go over well. This will come alongside a best of one Historic launch event and a best of 3 ranked queue. Oh, I think they keep referring to the update because we already know when it is. They said in the last article, but I sure as hell don't remember when it was. Anyway, there is enough to cover with Historic that is it warranted its own article, which you can find right here. Good, I'm going to go ahead and not read that. Then they move on to experimental events. We have always experimented with new types of events and formats, and we always will. Let me just say, Artisan was the greatest thing they ever came up with. Some have turned out to be very popular with players. Omniscience Draft. Really? Standard Shakeup? Yeah, just ban all the tier 1 broken shit. I would say that was probably actually the best thing they came up with. I will revise that. Others, not so much. Double Life. Yeah, that one was Brewer's Delight. I don't remember what that was, but it was probably terrible. So they're going to keep those experiments going and finding out more ways to have fun on MTG Arena. Mini games, okay? Strap some tires to one of my cards and let me drive it around a track. All right, add Mario Kart to the game. I just want to flip the damn table over. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, a digital frontier. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to see what we can do with this. We're working with other people at Wizards, and we're going to see what fun and interesting things we can do with this arena. There, I just saved you a ton of time. That isn't what they said, but that's what they said. So once again, very exciting, very promising. They're listening. They're looking at the problem reports. They're getting rid of things that don't work and that people don't like. They're adding things that people do like. Arenas, every month that Arena's been out, it's been better than the month before it, as far as like, well, maybe quarter. Month might not be accurate. Every quarter, every 3 months, it's been better than it was the 3 months previous, not counting the state of the standard meta. They've added cool stuff, new events, interesting little things, different queues, performance fixes, logic fixes. I just wish they would do something about slow players. It's a little bit less of a problem, but I don't know. We're getting the friends list. We're getting some new remastered sets. That's pretty wild. I don't think that's going in the right direction, but whatever. And they're attempting to add Pioneer to Arena eventually, which I could have sworn I read that they were not. So that'll cost some wild cards. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff, pretty positive stuff. That's good. They should just take the people who work on Arena and let them take over the entire Magic the Gathering branch of Wizards of the Coast. Clearly, they actually have their heads screwed on straight, unlike the absolute lunatics that work over in the paper division. And on that cheery note, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.